Why do we have a 3-day weekend after just coming back from the holiday break? Welcome to Miss Hood's School Bus Life. We have a 3-day weekend, and I always ask the children, why do you think you're out of school? I know, Miss Hood. I know why we have a 3-day weekend. It's a 3-day weekend. Everybody knew why they were out of school. Because Monday is the day that we celebrate Martin Luther King. What's so important about Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.? I know! Well, you know Flossie. She knows all about it. Martin Luther King made it possible for all children to ride the school bus and sit in any seat they wanted. And she starts talking about this stuff, and I'm thinking, yes. And Martin Luther King made it possible. Then why do we have assigned seats, Miss Hood? Where does she get this stuff? It's a 3-day weekend. I wanted to show you this book. Do you know that Martin Luther King Sr. was not named Martin Luther by his parents? This past summer, I read this book, and I was shocked at the very first paragraph. This is a book about Martin Luther. So I asked Flossie, do you know who this is? I don't know who he is, Miss Hood. Michael King, in 1934, went to visit the homeland of Martin Luther. Martin Luther was a reformer of the Roman Catholic Church, and he fought for the freedom and the rights of his congregation. And Michael King was so impressed with what Martin Luther had done, he changed his name to Martin Luther King. Wow! And his 5-year-old son, who was named Michael King after him, changed his name to Martin Luther King Jr. Really? Michael King? I want to thank you, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. I want to thank you, Dr. Martin Luther King. Every child that came up here and looked at Martin Luther and saw his face was white. One little girl, she's first grader, looked at the book and looked up at me and said, I don't get it. I said, what? She said, that's not Martin Luther King Jr. I said, no, it's not. It's Martin Luther. And she looked at me like I had grown another head. It was hilarious. She didn't have a clue. I never dreamed it was going to turn out that way. Well, I'm just thankful I get to sit with all my friends on the bus. And Martin Luther King Jr. certainly lived up to this name. It would make me really sad if I could get on the bus and then my friends would be left behind. That would make me really sad, Miss Hood. I think my history lesson was a little bit too far above their heads. Thank you, Dr. King. It's a 3-day weekend. It's a 3-day weekend. I Dr. Martin Luther King. I want to thank you, Dr. Martin Luther King, Jr. It was a very interesting day in Miss Hood's school bus life today. Drive safe, everybody.